Have you ever wondered, how do I turn my life around for the better? Perhaps you're someone who is struggling with your 9 to 5 job, and maybe you're stuck in your career and you feel like you have no way forward. Perhaps you're someone who is stuck with negative habits, which is taking your life in down this whole negative spiral. Perhaps you're facing depression and anxiety, you feel like there's no hope in your life. But when we look around, we see some people who have managed to turn their life around, who have achieved greatness. Maybe they have been through very tough circumstances and situations, but at the end of the day, over time they've managed to turn their life around, and they're excelling either in their careers, in their family lives, maybe in their business, whatever they want to achieve, they seem to be achieving it. So if you ever wondered, what are the key fundamentals in order for someone to become successful, someone to turn their life around and become successful, I'm going to share some key fundamentals with you today. So join me in today's podcast as I talk through the key fundamentals for your overall success, and how those, following those practices or understanding those fundamentals will help you to start turning your life around and making success for yourself as well. Welcome to my podcast, Motivation Unleashed. So there are 4 key fundamentals, or pillars as I like to call them, which help you build that foundation for success, right? And these 4 pillars are closely linked to each other, and you cannot achieve success without without either one of them. So all of them are really, really important for you to form that baseline and that foundation, which then you can use to build up your life. So what are these 4 key pillars? The first one is having a positive mindset. That is one. The second one is good habits. The third one is discipline. And the fourth one is good health. So understand that these 4 pillars are closely linked with each other. Like, you cannot achieve or you cannot build a strong foundation if one is missing, right? So you need to build up, or you need to establish all 4 pillars in your life, and you need to strongly establish these pillars, or else you're not going to be in a position to actually achieve your full potential. So what I will do now is I will go into each of these pillars and do a bit of a deep dive to make you understand what I'm talking about in terms of each of these pillars, and what you need to do in order to, establish and bring that into your life. All right, so starting off, let's look at pillar number 1. Pillar number 1 is your mindset. Your mindset is important, and I call this the first key pillar because this is one of the most important ones. I've said this on some of my previous episodes as well, where if you do not have a positive mindset, you cannot achieve anything in your life. First and foremost, if you're someone who is negative, or you tend to look at the world using a negative lens, you need to change that. You need to stop looking at your life, the current circumstances you're in, the current situation you're in, whatever challenges you may be facing. You have to stop looking at it from a negative perspective, right? And sometimes when you're in that situation, I do understand that it is hard to actually not be negative about a certain situation, especially if you're dealing with a very tough circumstance, and you feel like you're at that point in your life where you have no hope. But you need to change that. You need to start looking at the world in a positive way. Like, even if you don't have anything positive, or you feel like there's nothing positive happening in your life, you need to switch that mindset and say, all right, you know what, from today onwards, I'm going to change my life for the better. That itself is a positive thought, right? And then you use that and you kind of build yourself up from there. But understand that having a positive mindset, a positive outlook, is very, very important, because you cannot achieve anything if you're going to be negative about everything in your life. You know, if you're if you get up in the morning and you're negative about getting ready and going to work, or if you're negative about how your life is at the moment, or the routine you have to follow, you might be negative about your partner, your boss. There's so many things we can be sad, upset, and negative about, right? So you need to change that. So you need to work on it, and it's not something which you can do overnight. It is going to take you time, but start slowly looking at the positive things in your life. I mean, if you get up in the morning and you're feeling healthy, that's a positive, right? And there's that saying, like, any day above the ground is a good day. You can start with that. You can start by being grateful. You can start by practicing gratitude. You can be grateful for the little things you have: a roof over your head, you have food to eat, you have a form of transportation, you have clothes on your back. There's so many things you can be grateful for. So start there. Start practicing gratefulness and gratitude, and automatically over time your mind will start becoming positive, right? And stop focusing on the negative things. If your mind starts suddenly going down this spiral and you feel like you're starting to think of all these negative things, distract yourself. Maybe start remembering some of the good things you have in your life, and change that whole. It's almost like exercise. It's going to take time, but I'm really confident that you will get there. And I guess the other part of having that positive mindset is that you need to have a learning mindset. You need to be curious. Like, if you decide, I'm going to make my life better, and perhaps let's say you decide that, I'm going to move on from in my career. I want to do better in this, wherever I'm working, whatever industry I'm working. Maybe you say, what do I need to do? You start thinking, because you're positive about it. You want to make change for your life. You start thinking, and you start learning. So you also need to have, with that positive mindset, you need to have a growth or a learning mindset. So you need to be curious. You need to be positive. You need to start looking at, what do I need to do to start changing my life? Perhaps I need to take a course. Perhaps I need to study something. There's so much content out there on YouTube and other social media. You're in a really good situation. I mean, the present generation of people, like, if I want to learn something today, all that information is in my fingertips, right? So remember, pillar number 1 is to have a positive growth mindset, right? So let's talk about pillar number 2 now. Okay, so pillar number 2 is good habits. I cannot stress the importance of having good habits in your life, because essentially our day-to-day habits define our overall life and our present reality. So as an example, if you're someone who is having really good habits, let's say you get up in the morning, you spend some time studying something of interest, you spend some time working out, you have a very healthy meal in the morning, those are all positive habits, right? So those habits over time, they compound, and they add up, and they tend to reflect your life over time. So if you're a person who is very healthy, who's quite active, quite fit, and you have a wealth of knowledge, you might be excelling in a certain industry, you might be doing well in your school or your studies, you might be doing well in some kind of a hobby. That's, if you really look back and if you try to break that down, that success you're having at the moment, that is all to do with the current habits you have. So if you really break down to the fundamentals, it's the habits, right? It's all those good habits which you've been nurturing, which you've been consistently working on over time. It is also the same if you look at the flip side of it, which is negative habits. Negative habits over time have a negative impact on your life. I've actually spoken about this topic in a lot of detail in one of my podcast episodes. So I've actually left the link to that episode in the description below. If you're more interested in understanding about habits and how habits compound over time and how it defines your life overall, I encourage you to click on that link below in the description and just have a listen to that episode as well. But but yeah, it is very important. Having positive and good habits is another strong pillar in the mix. If you consider the four pillars of which sets you up for success. So it is really important. Habits play a crucial part, and it is closely linked with all of the other pillars I'll be speaking about to you today. So with habits, so that is pillar number two, and pillar number one is a positive mindset. So let's move on to pillar number three and understand what pillar number three is all about. So pillar number three is discipline. I cannot stress the importance of this pillar as well, because you cannot achieve anything without discipline. You can have the right mindset, which is fine, but if you look at having good habits, which is pillar number two, good habits are very closely related with the level of discipline you have. So what is discipline? Discipline is your ability as a person, as an individual, to actually consistently keep doing some form of action. So if it's a positive habit, let's say it's about working out, you have the discipline to get up every morning, go to the gym, push through that workout, and rinse and repeat, and keep doing it day in, day out. That is discipline. It's your ability to stick to a schedule, to stick to a routine, and to be consistent. Because it's very important to understand, if you want to be successful in life, you have to develop the habit of being consistent and keep repeating, rinse and repeat until you achieve that goal you're after, right? So discipline is key for that. Without discipline, you cannot actually achieve success. So that is pillar number three. Pillar number three is discipline. So what is pillar number four? Pillar number four is your health. I cannot stress the importance of having good health. You need to have a healthy body in order to have a healthy mind. If your body is functioning at its optimal level with the right level of nutrients, physical activity, and overall good health, that is going to play a huge part in your success, because that enables you to have the right level of energy when you need to get work done. It gives your mind the right level of thinking power, because your body is you have a sense of well-being, which means that your mind is more laser focused, and it allows you to focus on your goals and work towards it, right? So your health is very, very, very important. So you maintaining that health, you maintaining your physical fitness, you maintaining your mental well-being, it's a highly important factor which will greatly contribute to your success. Now, I know there are exceptions to this rule. Like, I can understand people who deal with health challenges. That is not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the level of effort you put in and how consistently you keep working on having good health. You shouldn't be eating junk food all the time. You should be abusing your body with alcohol. You should be abusing your body with cigarettes and drugs and all kinds of these toxic things. And we as human beings, we abuse our bodies so much, especially with all the processed food, the fizzy drinks, all these things, all this garbage we keep putting into our body. It over time, it does play a role. It impacts you, right? If you're someone who's not physically fit, you don't work out, your body will be low on energy. And if you're having all these processed foods and sugar and fat all the time, that's going to impact your health well-being as well. It's going to impact your heart. It's going to impact your blood circulation. Your body is going to become slow, which in turn impacts your mind, because your mind doesn't have enough energy to actually have the required level of focus it needs to, right? So your health is critical. It is a very important pillar. So if we revisit the pillars I spoke about before, you need to have a positive mindset. You need to have the right habits, the right positive habits. You need to have discipline. And then you need to have good health. These are the key fundamentals for you to achieve success. If you nail these pillars, if you build up that foundation and you get that base built up, success is yours for the taking. So the 4 pillars I've spoken about so far, I consider them to be the fundamentals for success. And you can see that none of the 4 pillars I've spoken about can function without depending on the other. So for example, if you don't have a positive mindset and positive thoughts, you can't really build up good habits. And without good habits, and without having the discipline to build good habits and continue those good habits, you won't have that focus which you need to actually achieve the goals or the dreams or the ambitions you have for your life. And without health, you can't really achieve any of it. Like, even if you have a positive mindset, if your health is really bad and you're suffering, you can't really work towards your goals. You can't really build up positive habits and keep working at it. So you can see that all these pillars which I spoke about are closely linked to each other, and they form the foundation for you to build a successful life. In my life personally, I figured these things out on my own, bit by bit, and over time I've built up this foundation which has greatly helped me achieve or work towards achieving the goals which I have for my life. So I hope this message or this episode was useful to you, and I hope that you found something which you can take away from it. And I'd like to wish you nothing but success moving forward as you work towards building up and achieving your goals. So if you like the content you see, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok on motivated.unleashed. Please do subscribe and follow my socials so that I can continue to bring more content like this for you. So with that being said, have a great day everyone, and always remember, stay positive, stay motivated, and keep working towards your goal.